Ȧṛှėtzɛt for more cover Edoba daily update. So now I will share Jumedi na subscribe my YouTube channel, like and share, never comment show. Alistia Masias and I can say, okay, more Jumedi friend this inside politics. So now Alistia Matthias, will be a nano like or evidence and as or Casal him say, or Casal no dance when near denso. On a beer to me say a year from Keno Foriata say no. Say no for rata or maybe, but we have one reason or now one agenda, and it's a ni bank and ni enterprise no yen CZ na CZ we so a ni partners or no more a juma the business partners ni workers no yen sha se encheche wo mo yen issue arrest on them, say issue arrest on them we so na just say and only idea you bet to me I back for yesterday. She said for now and you the best option is say you be what a bit season the bank and enterprise you know. Now moreover no course so me say on NSS ghost names na gifty or worry I stand to be corrected. Boss and Nana B they are all involved in the ghost name because no more NSS one now I know at least say a year we munyana Nana B and a crampona on Sami Jamfi yehwe Nana B we press conference echo boss Sami Jamfi nti Nana B should be arrested se Nana B no omo pe yiko Canada ni UK nti omo duru ho a omo arrest no because Nana B no na we nyina oka ase or report we nyina to OSP because OSP now started prosecution nti so OSP has started prosecution there then Nana B is under must face the prosecution because on any NSS lady no omo under their watch and a ghost names over 1,000 plus they our wha omo de dupi Ghana nti Nana B no ya na just say obetu kwan ono so pe Canada na UK nti what issue say the OSP no so or two kwan or do Canada or Montana and there's more factor or drop nti enkuti is 7 God bless
you to that contract na onyaye no so yempanifo no mummi moni enko national lotteries we ye pa na mo hwehwe nkratam se ye chede ye nchemu obia na obia anya den enye bi nkofo de tifio anu mo make millions of cedis on daily basis mame mo eye national security coordinator abaso moyan for Osman DCOP we are said there make catch for 8 good years. Ya man promotion that in the police service. Ya two abewe ya people lose ya na AP and free ACP. And then call DCOP. And we national security coordinator. National security coordinator and CDS reported to him. IGP reported to him. And son wano anopabia wama president. Anopabia wama ni briefing. Iti we are in your position and fanswa. When namunim say bia sa papa ya fan say Osman no. Namunim say mu piana ya dan ahyew. Ene wo so wo soro. We DCOP nso anopa bia wo the report be man. Yo kofo bi wo ho a we don't need to mention their names. There was an officer o mo hye no. O mo resign o mo ko. Man train my mepamo the pamini the head ya beba beto anti mu fi say your mama onim de woya na your mama munim say onim de woya na office na wote ye no ni say na do na appoint we de obetena wa be ye ne dwuma ma na wie woni ne mapon iti wa sesa gugu no kaka ne ko entwe say ye fa le temra hey Dr. Kalisu su ne fa le squat for so si o munim twere o mo betwere sisi a ene ono abujulo zebra wo betwere sisi a ameko alisa so fa kakra be ka ho on the ghost names na fe ya wrap up
yo mugabe me de me ka che Ghana for mu yi mani African no for after so on baby o me ya de o be ba Ghana bi ai na John Gina Pokai no odi ne ho akamura otilo waje bam ya gudu sa voice we nyina wo ye de wa dwane o yeswi ya wo hu no mu ma nya na sisi seize your property, Kelly Gadget, seize data bank, enterprise insurance, Trevor Ghana in the partners, some more, Yanti Chom, Munko Chom, hey, Charlie, to me, the bank. So was another yes, I don't know silicon according to him. Please, he's nobody. I'm missing on baby. Let's seize these things because he said, Obama chichile de the mere power. Abemane fritokronum abamon kan say Trump nso mu hu om so mu na America ho amomomura Mugabe onu na be meeting din kwa na me boafu yes so me catch because his father was a humble person. His father was watching mattress, very humble person. It was a champion who made his father to become somebody under the auspices of helping Ghanaians to attain the economic heights, of the economy, that Ghanaians will take the commanding heights of the economy. His father decided to support industrialists at the time. No a mattress or a foam, spring room, or that's what you say, come on. Now, the back way there, me who be your super free. Ni papa no me bro. And go a buying funny sika and support no. But we are quite away do a nibre na me who be da. Na nibre no a brunti asieso. Look at what he has done. And he's walking around doing press conferences. How? On no boss amijem fino. And you know. On no amijem fino no afa bicycle. I know born who afa bicycle who mo say press conference. Who dey say dey about hey, who dey with me down please. Mugabe. No, yeah, see about my 2 film say be obi dey about ko born e be ka say me. It would dey me year free. Onu ponu I don't want to see men America no. She gift kunedu oware ana yes I know friend. Ena sports minister no. Mustafa Yusuf. I know say SB. Say be catch Mustafa no there. He was a stooge for Osafumafo. Osafumafo ne wine it is alokoto.
No, but Mustafa Yusuf, no, is it not the same under him as sports minister? No, $15 million. Yes, $4.5 million. ID cards, marginal. Why is the guy working free? That's what I'm saying. He needs to come and account for all those money. So he just didn't steal from the sports ministry. He also stole from the national service. He's a professional thief.
No, his godfather
should be interrogating him.
Loves money, so he uses him to go and bring the money.
Yeah.
And then you to know them. We are money. Now they think gong. No. Papa, they have to arrest them. Nana B, the Kunedu girl, and they have to arrest them. We have to write to the international community. We have to go to the American embassy.
Seize their passport.
And then so that they seize their passport. Go to the Australian embassy and the Canadian embassy. Nana B ope Canada kopa. Mumma odu ayen chino. National service. Do you know the intention of the formation of the national service in 1972? Hey, Kutu Achampon, may your soul rest in peace. Well, Kwalawe nyina ba national service mu. Wo Achampon ye bo tu, but saying Kwalawe nyina national service o ma be fam. O ma wie sika ye body a wo wada we bia wo ye no kra, wo be say ewudi e wo grave mu. Look at the money we are talking about, 8.4 million in a year. What is scanning again? Nanabi, what are you using the money for? Small boy like you.
Yes, all this kind of lawyer ladies.
What? You know why they set up the national service?
Not the lawyer ladies. Lawyer ladies.
Mugabe, every mobile Ghana. Bibi ana ko fa esika, bibi ana obi ewia esika, obi ko fa brother 2 pe, ese on ko 25 years. Obi depend, obi
want to ensure that there's value for money. Want to ensure that we do the right thing. I want to ensure that we protect the ordinary Ghanaian and the taxpayers' money. And so rest assured, we will tackle that issue. And we'll tackle that issue frontally and head on. I've briefed His Excellency the President and has given me full approval and authorization to move full steam. And that's exactly what we intend to do. President Mahama is very, very determined. He's very committed to local content and to Ghanaian participation. But we also want to balance that so that we can also get the needed FDIs into the economy in order to spur economic growth and ensure that we attain inclusive, accelerated growth. That we have an interest that maximizes their overall benefit, not just having the equity for the sake of it. I know some blocks that are owned by Ghanaians, and for some years now, no activity is taking place. It's a big loss to both that Ghanaian entrepreneur. So many banks deduct their monies at source. They've just gone for what they call a super vendor. That super vendor takes 5% at source. They've gone for a certain payment app from a company that takes another 3% at source. And so I have an issue. You have a lot of deductions at source, which eats away almost a chunk of the money. So if you take a case scenario like the 1.5 billion, what ECG ought to do is to deposit all the money into a holding account. So all the 1.5 billion ought to go into what you call a holding account.
Right.
Then there's a cash waterfall mechanism committee, which we are reconstituting. The ministry is represented, Ministry of Finance, PRC, and then they would determine the formula to apportion the money. So if ECG decides to declare only 1 billion, what it means is that the 500 million, they keep that money and spend it. That we're talking about are monies that are collected, but ECG failed to declare those monies and decided to appropriate the monies and spend them. So when they do that, then power producers will not be paid, generators will not be paid, the transmission grid companies will not be paid, even the levies, which are statutory and passed by Parliament, will not be paid. And that is where you are having some of these major problems. And it's all because they are engaging in what I call very frivolous procurements. They have about 3,000 containers stuck at the port, generating demurrage of about 1.5 billion. That is unacceptable. Some of the things they've procured will last them 10 years. Some would even expire in 5 years. And so we've commissioned a committee to investigate ECG's procurements and the cause of these containers stuck at the port. And the committee is doing a very good job. So far, the preliminary report I've gotten indicates that there's massive rot at ECG. They do not follow procurement guidelines. They do not follow procurement processes. They do not conduct a needs analysis, and they just engage in brazen procurement. And so we're waiting for that report. But beyond that, there will be another technical report. What the PwC has done is a financial audit. We want to do a human audit, human resource audit, and a deeper audit of all the energy sector, a full approval and authorization to move full steam. And that's exactly what we intend to do. President Mahama is very, very determined. He's very committed to local content and to Ghanaian participation. But we also want to balance that so that we can also get the needed FDIs into the economy in order to spur economic growth and ensure that we attain inclusive, accelerated growth. That we have an interest that maximizes their overall benefit, not just having the equity for the sake of it. I know some blocks that are owned by Ghanaians, and for some years now, no activity is taking place. It's a big loss to both that Ghanaian entrepreneur and to the state. But if you can attract some majors and some big oil producers to partner with you and then spur up the exploration process and ultimately begin to produce oil, because that is what we want to do, especially as we go through this energy transition. We must pump oil as much as we can whilst we brace up for the transition period. And our emphasis more is on the gas, so that all our thermal plants, we can run them on gas, even if they are dual fuel, but with some buffer, in order that if there's a problem with gas, we can easily switch to alternative fuel. And from the records, in 2022 thereabout, we made a savings of about...
Without that, changes so as a council of state I know, sir, by watching a corner de chiano, not swearing in taking place. A bet taking place either tomorrow or Wednesday. Now, move speed. Baby, I draw my den near my air to tuano, move speed. I want to move say, yes, you will fear answer. I am one who you be also will apply common sense in whatever you do. The 3 Ds, one apply the 3 Ds, I will be obey failure. Determination, dedication, and discipline. The 3 Ds. When you do our life more fun, you fail. Determination, dedication, and discipline. 3 Ds. And what do I want to say? Office now on. So we are another appointee now. No, start writing your handing over. No, also quiet. Don't sit down for us to fire you because we are the Bepamo. So I'm not here to mention their names. More lobby no. None than a do but now. Not the 10 is here the Nipa. And this is here Nipa. But me person me say James soldier for no mutin friend no matter so hard. Soldier for na no mo ti James afia wa na mo de na chi no woni boss ram no sa soldier for no mo da so oduti wo James afia na that just want to know. Yes. And one you say aba ya de bo ba no and one ya de baba tachi o John Mahama appointees no munya very very careful. John Mahama appointees no munya very very careful. Man we say you to know wo more and I'm happy say me hu babu na yama no tumi a say babu no wo de tumi no ho wo tumi de ye bibi no de buachi mafo. That is the future generation. And ya guys asemo Pieto wura asemo munya juma ni ye na kwanya Ghana for so to abama yen over a year 1.7 million votes difference no but mani so ba majo Mahama fa ukotena office na kwaya kakabe sama hawaka pampos na peja ne nai me wunne me na me we massa wo be steady me ba na ma fa wi ama wo me konso am fa wi ngo ya ba ya be pre bibia wo wi ase ya kwa na eja bibia wo ne yeko. Be very careful in that office because millions of people in the same qualification wo ya dumbi na de wakwa kotena bibia ya de wakwa kotena no. So wisdom mama nyame kama kuma kata asesa ne kro no munyi mfiri makwam hwe ye wo bia ya de kata asesa ne project tower obi agina was no Mugabe no. I've known him for over 20 years. Mugabe won't me for bribe on Tareno. Obetimi akwase okwase me. And no they are granted who had that opportunity. Go na dachi ubebu pasa ube share with you. Yes. We bibia no are very careful. Na nyawa dwen say won wo ye John Mahama appointee. Eti wasemba ye ba katasu. Hey. Wasemba ye be katasu. Ye be bo gumba ma wa ho ba wo so. Say kura wa tonsu nyinum. To make sure say that office no ya we occupy today no. A bi political appointment our expiring date. Na bia na wini sa office obiem ba e be fro say bebu akonta. Time no accountability time. Ebi na to kan ofori atam no. We still worship. We nyuma be ye ni nyina wo ba bebu ho aten. Ekwaya over so awokwaji loan na yade sa bangi ne bangi kura amavo ha se yi o musika freeway data bank and enterprise insurance na SRC ya guno ne yi free ho commercial bank ho bank ya ko NIB ho ya ko I mean SM bank name the banks take it say if you are sitting in your media
daily updates so na wo hwe na wo hwe na subscribe na share na wo comment so share comment section share you media no na afoforo so nsanka bi eye Alistia Matthias NAB insem say no say OSP enya the wanted eye card bi and access script bi aba ya chro Kino Foriata wanted Kenneth na ya Foriata wanted na chese o chere se Kino Foriata bebia ode ne ho akan ra kodu no na chese Kino Foriata nye na adwen se obeba back to Ghana. Yeah, Kino Foriata enye na adwen because so far as ya chro command say Kino Foriata free wa opem ne bra na be yi ensem ba ko mienu ano Kino Foriata ma ne lawyer for choba say ono Kino Foriata ne de ono no ho mfa no na ne ho mfa no no kɔ abrochimam kwaje ayarsa na eno na chikra no onim da obeba Ghana ti na chese ɛho na OSP no enya adwem sɛ Kino Foriata na adwem sɛ omma face mra no because the 4 charges ene ye de what ya drop on him a na chese OSP no so ye den ebeka ye enti for now no Foriata de kan wanted serious wanted permission yenko na fa comment show no ye de dwumadi no abanawie. God bless you.